Hey guys, I'm at Push Start Play Arcade in Lewisville, Texas. I guarantee you have never seen an arcade like this. This is a brand new arcade with everything beautiful condition. They've got a ton of limited edition pinball machines and some truly rare classic arcade games. So let's go inside and check it out. This is maybe the best arcade in Texas. You're definitely going to want to stay to the end when I show you a Tron machine you've probably never seen before and some incredible row of limited edition pinball machines. This place is truly astonishing. Now guys, as you go inside, you can see you pay $12 to get in, and that gives you free access to all these arcade games. You have to pay $1 each for the pinballs. But guys, it is worth it. 12 bucks to play games you never see hardly anywhere, like Cubert's Cubes, the sequel to Cubert. And we've got Mad Planets. That's a tough to find game for sure from Gottlieb. You got Narc, the Say No to Drugs game, which is pretty tough to find. A fun game, kind of edgy for its time. You got Paperboy with the famous handlebars controller. You got the Three Stooges. You don't see the arcade version of that very often. Freeze, whatever that is. You got Beavis and Butthead, guys. This is amazing to see these machines out here. You just don't see very often. My daughter was really excited to see Monkey Ball because she loves playing that on the GameCube. The Irritating Maze, guys. 720 degrees, however you want to say it. Great skateboarding game, way before Tony Hawk, Captain America, and the Avengers. I love this. Basically a side-scrolling shooter game, but super fun. If you want to get the home version of this game, be sure and get the Genesis version. It's much better than the Super Nintendo one. And headed down the next row here, we've got Snacks and Jackson. You ever seen this game before? Be sure to let me know in the comments. 1984, that is a scarce one, guys. Sente Mini Golf, Hat Trick, got a couple of sports titles there. Chicken Shift, I see what they did there. Wacko with this Wacko arcade cabinet. I love they had the idea to make this really unusual or unique, really, arcade design, slanted like that. Journey was really cool, kind of an underrated action game. Nibbler, if you've seen Man vs. Snake, you know all about this maze game where Tim just killed it, playing, first arcade game to score over 1 billion points on this machine. And we've got Bosconian. Not super rare, but a great game. Kangaroo. That was one of my favorites on the 5200. My wife's favorite game, as I've told you a million times, Centipede. You got Dig Dug. Sadly, there is no Mr. Do here, but that's maybe my only complaint about this machine. Food Fight. Yes, we do have, we're by the windows here, so it's a little bright inside during the day. I'm here on a Sunday morning, so it's not crowded. Crossbow, anybody? Do you guys remember playing this game on the Atari 7800? Pretty solid port, even though obviously you got a different control scheme. You got Chiller, super rare light gun shooter there from Exidy. Love me some Exidy games. Cheyenne, another rare light gun shooter there. And for you fighting game fans, we got several machines here. And Bubbles, who remembers that as sort of a throwaway add-on to the Williams collections? But I discovered it through those collections. It's actually a pretty solid action game. Got Blaster from Williams, Burger Time, one of the all-time great platformers, climbing games. I love me some Return of the Jedi. iRobot's a tough game to find. All right, guys, let's keep going. And as we round the corner here, Castlevania in the arcades. Sweet. And one of my favorite Tetris-inspired games, Dr. Mario. And we've got some nice Nintendo games across here. Donkey Kong 2, guys. Let me know in the comments if you know what that is. Compare, you got Donkey Kong, you got Donkey Kong Jr., you got Donkey Kong 3. Donkey Kong 2, interesting. And Popeye. You guys know I love me some Popeye. I love to see when the Nintendo machines are all in a row here, including the Versus Cabs here and Mario Brothers. Probably my two favorite two-player co-op of all time. and actually co-op, yes, potentially, but me and my friends would like to sabotage each other at that game. Versus Duck Hunt, awesome. I'm sure most of you guys discovered these games on the NES. Arm wrestling, that looks pretty amusing there. Punch Out and Super Punch Out, love to see those side by side. And as we go along, we got some other great games here. I know a lot of you guys love Elevator Action, phenomenal game. Bubble Bobble. You guys remember seeing the Black Mirror episode where that game played a key role? Frontline, I loved this on the ColecoVision back in the day. Instead of this kind of dial controller, you had the Super Action controller, which sort of served as a substitute for that. It wasn't a rotary controller, but had the 4 buttons so you could maneuver and shoot and everything. Pretty dynamic fashion. Zookeeper, one of my favorite arcade games of all time. I discovered this incredible game on my Taito collection on the PS1. It is just fantastic if you've never played it. I know a lot of you guys remember this game from the NES version. Road Blasters, I was so glad when they came out with this for the Genesis and Super Nintendo because it is a quarter sucker. It's a great sort of action-oriented racing game. Demolition Combat Racers, racing shooter, whatever you want to say. Fantastic game, but man, it will suck your quarters down. Pack Rat, another scarce game. Guys, there are so many hard to find games in here. Marble Madness, without this game, there might not be a Super Monkey Ball. And check this out, guys. Marble Madness 2 Marble Man. This is the first time I've ever seen this in an arcade. Pretty cool. This looks like a new game. I'm not really familiar with this one. It's like a, I don't know. Let me know in the comments the background of Marble Man 2 or Marble Madness. Yeah, Marble Man. Just really cool to see that here for sure. Mighty Pang. Guys, check this out, Trog. I know, again, I love this NES game, but it's so cool to see the arcade version here, which is quite a bit different. Part of what makes it different is the claymation graphics, sort of like a claymation, 3D rendered type characters. It's a brilliant maze game, and you guys know the maze genre is one of my favorites, maybe my favorite. Now guys, Capcom and Konami, I always stumble over that name. They made so many games that are famous, and then ones like this that a lot of people just simply haven't heard of. And they've got several here. Forgotten Worlds from Capcom. Maybe you played this on the Genesis back in the day. If you played the arcade version, I would love to hear from you because so many of these are obscure. Taito made a lot of machines that you haven't heard of, like Kadash, or they're at least obscure. Crime City from Taito, definitely an obscurity here. Blood Brothers from FabTech, never seen that one before. Really cool. Kind of gives me Sunset Riders vibes. Pretty obscure baseball game there from Atari. Magic Sword. Little Gauntlet vibes, not Gauntlet, but Golden Axe vibes there. Prehistoric Isle. I saw this machine not too long ago at a different arcade, somewhere in Fort Worth. Astyanax, I remember that being on the NES off the top of my head, if I remember that correctly. Shinobi, one of the all-time greats for sure. How many remember playing this on the Master System? Bionic Commando, that was a popular port to the NES with the interesting control mechanics there with your bionic reach. Tetris, my daughter's favorite game of all time. Always cool to see the arcade version there. Victory Road, which is basically Akari Warriors 2. Now when they came out with the Akari Warriors 2 on the NES, it's a different game than the arcade version here. And then Gladiator, another tough one to find. This is a really strange game. So when you start, it's like an auto-scrolling game, hack and slash. Interesting. Gang Wars, an obscure title from SNK here. Pretty cool to see all of these hard to find games, including Hydra from Atari Games. I was really excited to see Rock and Rope. If you've ever played this game, and I like that they have these machines cranked up. You can really hear them in this arcade. But if you remember this game on the ColecoVision, It's a really interesting climbing game, and obviously the arcade version is much more difficult, even if you play level 4, you know, difficulty 4 on ColecoVision. Now Circus Charlie, I remember playing this one on a compilation for the PS1 back in the day, and my kids really liked this game a lot. And yeah, it is fun. It requires a lot of timing, and it's kind of a fun platformer there. Super Zaxxon, which is great, because in the 80s, Zaxxon was a very common machine. Much harder to find Super Zaxxon. And the same type of gameplay, it just amped up the difficulty level and the speed. It's a faster game than regular Zaxxon. Shoes, horseshoe game with the trackball control there. Another tough one to find. Another hard to find sports game, MVP from Sega. Pac-Mania, I love the marquee on this one with the 3D effect there. Rough Ranger. How many of you guys have heard of this game from Capcom? Kind of has an elevator action type of gameplay. And Golden Axe, classic on the Genesis port. Extremely popular early in the life of the Genesis. Choplifter, a lot of you might have played this on the Apple II computer decades ago. And it was ported to a lot of systems, Master System, ColecoVision, and several other systems. And they're all a little bit different from each other, which is really interesting. You know, not just graphics and things. They all have a little different elements to them, which is really fascinating. Joust, great two-player game. One of the few games I can still beat my son Ryan at. He's gotten so good. Sinistar, some of the most killer voice effects, and one of my favorite enemies in the game for sure. Really dynamic shooter there. Robotron 1984 or 2084. I'm thinking of the Orwell book. Anyway, Robotron, you guys might know that that's John Hancock's favorite game of all time. And then Motor Race USA, really rare vertical racer, top down. I played that earlier. It's a lot of fun. Couple of games for you side-scrolling shooter fans here, which I'm definitely in that market. I actually like Defender on the NES, Stargate on the NES, because it's easier than the arcade version. Defender 2. Both of these games are at least NFL Blitz. I'm not sure about Showtime. We're voiced by my buddy Tim Kitzrow. Yeah, guys, this is just an amazing game. I'm sure most of you probably discovered Columns on the Sega Genesis, another Tetris-inspired puzzler. Fantastic. Who remembers Bart Simpson's Scrabble word back in the day? Squeegee bow or something. Let me know in the comments if you remember exactly what it was when he thought he was smart. Here's a fascinating one from Williams. Varcon. You actually have to pay to play this one because it is a pinball game there. Very unusual. As we continue our tour, we are further towards the back of the arcade where it's darker and not as far. It's further away from the windows. We've got a nice row of sci-fi games, including Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator. I had this on the ColecoVision, and I remember taking my copy to the Dallas Fantasy Fair and selling it to a vendor there. And I bought it back years later. I don't know why I sold it. Just needed a few bucks, I guess, to buy some comics. I love this row of sci-fi machines here, including Major Havoc. Very hard to find game from Atari. Black Widow. You can play this on PlayStation on one of the Atari collections, and it is a killer multi-directional shooter. Love this game, and actually discovered this on home consoles. Never played this on in the arcades, until more recent years. It is fantastic. Tempest, one of the all-time great rotary control games. Red Baron, it's a tough one to find from Atari. Battlezone, all-time classic, and I love that right beside Asteroids, one of the games I mastered back in the day because it was by my junior high school, they've got Asteroids Recharged. Really cool pairing. The next row over, we've got Timber. This is another one I discovered on home compilation titles. Really fun. And Tapper, one of the all-time classics, ported to ColecoVision. And the Atari 2600 version is actually better in my opinion, strangely enough. Splatterhouse. Really cool to see this in the arcade and not just on the TurboGrafx or the sequels on the Genesis. Firefox, based on the movie, with some full motion video there from Atari. Remember the LaserDisc craze? Speaking of that, they've got more LaserDisc games, including Dragon's Lair 2, which is much harder to find than Dragon's Lair. Neither one of them super common these days. Space Ace, a sequel to Dragon's Lair. And Cliffhanger, that's a tough one to find. Yeah, this is not one you're gonna see very often. Cliffhanger from Stern, their entry into the sort of LaserDisc genre. Pretty cool. Super Don Quixote, another rare LaserDisc game, that one from Universal, 1984. Always great seeing these just incredible rarities. Got Mach 3 and Tron, and I love the pairing here again, guys, because we got discs of Tron right next to it. Boy, that marquee just does not film well. So, but anyway, very cool to see. Who remembers playing Turbo on the ColecoVision? And it came with the driving controller, which looked quite a bit like that arcade wheel there, you know, at least relatively speaking. And man, that was a great port. And the arcade version is obviously a beautiful, wonderful game. Smash TV, inspired by Robotron, created by the same individual, Ed Logg. Xevious is obviously another great game. One of the early vertical shooters. It was the first one where you could shoot ground targets and airborne targets in the same game there. You got Ghostbusters from Data East, and the real Ghostbusters, I should say. 2-player game there, pretty cool, or 3-player. Well, there's, you know, you gotta play 3-player. It's Ghostbusters. Rampart, who remembers that on the NES and Genesis? And kind of an odd mix here. We got Marvel vs. Capcom 2 fighting game next to Pole Position. This should have been next to Turbo, but what can I say? This is a gigantic arcade. Who am I to say how they should lay it out? Now, on this tour of the arcade, we're mostly sticking with the older machines, but I had to show you guys this cool environmental Luigi's Mansion arcade. If you played GameCube Luigi and have never seen this, you're gonna love it. Spider-Man, the video game. I played this at Nickelmania decades ago. And let's see, track and field. Doesn't have the little button additions that will keep you from cheating, but oh well. Hopper Sports, definitely uncommon. Demolition Derby, another uncommon game. And you guys know I am super excited that they have Ladybug. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's my favorite ColecoVision game and one of my favorite all-time arcade games. Just a wonderful maze game. A lot of people compare it to Pac-Man, but it's got these doors you can open and close. You can spell out extra and special. If you spell out special in the ColecoVision version, it gives you a vegetable garden, like a bonus round. But if you spell it out in the arcade, there's like a wedding scene and you get a free credit. But they figured free credits weren't important to ColecoVision, so they made a different thing. Looping, another ColecoVision port that brought an obscure game into the mainstream. Karnov, this is a wonderful sort of platform shooter, ported to the NES extremely well. One of my favorite NES games. Super Cobra, this is the sequel to Scramble. I was hoping to see Scramble nearby. Another great side-scrolling shooter. Super Dodgeball, I'm sure a lot of you played this on the NES. That was a very popular, kind of a cult classic these days on the NES. Sly Spy, super rare, or at least uncommon. I don't recall seeing it out in the wild, or at least anywhere. 1943. If there's an arcade game that you run across in an arcade, is that in the wild? I don't know. Ring King. And of course, every arcade needs a Space Invaders. This is the 25th, the Silver Anniversary Edition that's paired with Kicks. Rastan, I remember playing this at the Bronco Bowl in Dallas before the Neil Young concert that my brother-in-law and I went to, and thinking it was absolutely killer. Gaplus, which is a sequel to Galaga. And look, you can get even more, pair up with more ships than just a full row of them. Krull, based on the film, the fantasy film Blasteroids. I was so happy when they came out with sequels to Asteroids, because I mentioned earlier that I mastered that game, and Blasteroids and Asteroids Deluxe were so much more difficult than Asteroids. So yeah, it was great to play those. Brian F. Collin, art designer on Rampage, one of the co-creators of Rampage, great game. I believe they told me there are over 700 machines here at this arcade. That counts pinballs, arcades, ticket redemption, everything here. Hey, there I am. Reactor. That's a cool one you don't see very often. Cloak and Dagger. How many of you seen the film Cloak and Dagger? It's a really awesome movie with Dabney Coleman. It's a ton of fun. There's a little gameplay there for Cloak and Dagger. Phoenix, definitely a top 10 favorite for me. One of my favorite games of all time. Sort of a Galaga slash Space Invaders type shooter. One of the earlier bosses in a game. The mothership there. Ninja Baseball Batman. No, not that Batman. If memory serves, the NES version of Xenophobe was just for 2 players. It's a 3-player arcade game. Last Mission, a pretty hard to find game for the arcades. Don't know if that was ever ported. Don't recall seeing that on a home console. Pac-Land, where Pac-Man got legs, can run around. Special Criminal Investigation. There's one I've never seen. Of course, you gotta have Miss Pac-Man. It kind of goes without saying. Now guys, we're coming up on a row of Neo Geo machines here in just a second. Yeah, this arcade has only been open for a few days. And if it seems empty, like I said earlier, it's on a Sunday morning. We decided to come here. Their hours are insane. They're open, I believe, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day. Monday, or all 7 days of the week. And we figured we'd come out here early on Sunday, being in the Bible Belt. A lot of people are in church. A lot of people are still asleep or just kind of chilling out on a Sunday morning. And so, yeah, this was the perfect time to come. Thunder Jaws. If you've played that one, man, more power to you. Super R-Type 2, or no, just R-Type 2. Super R-Type was on the Super Nintendo, but just R-Type 2. Carrier Air Wing. A lot of shooters in this arcade. Love to see it. We got Ninja Turtles and Frogger. And guys, hang on tight. I'm going to show you a Tron arcade that you maybe have never seen before. But we'll get that in just a few minutes here. We've got 2 more rows of machines. Chopper 1, I guess. R-Type. Game I've never played before there. Chopper. Yes, I have played R-Type many times. Love the Master System port. Top Gun versus Top Gun, so the NES version basically. RBI Baseball. I love when they have newer-ish video games that they make an arcade version of. Console games that they put in the arcade. And we've got Fix-It Felix Jr. Cuphead. See, here's another console game they made an arcade version of. Super Mario Brothers. Don't know why that's not with other Nintendo games, but who am I to say? Cool version of Junior Pac-Man here. I love that arcade cab. That is cool. Very different. It's a lot like the original Pac-Man. It's just more difficult. Can't really establish a pattern. Mappy, another really cool arcade cab. It's designed like Junior Pac-Man. Love these. Yeah, here we go. There's Junior Pac-Man in action. Here's another entire room filled with games. And there are some classics in here, such as Tubin, another game ported well to the NES. And Crystal Castles, again, that's a great arcade. Famously, it had a red trackball. This one looks a little faded. Doesn't look like it's lit up. Yeah, it was. There's a trackball on the PS1 that actually works pretty well with Crystal Castles. It's a third-party trackball, but that's about all that trackball is good for. Carnival, that's a cool light gun shooter. Battletoads. I know a lot of you guys beat your head against the wall playing the NES version. I think it was level 3 that had such a difficult level. Guys, Bagman, wow, I remember seeing this, playing this at Showbiz Pizza decades ago, and then it was ported to the ColecoVision not terribly long ago by one of the homebrew companies. Yeah, this was a really intriguing game to me. I would see it advertised like in magazines, and finally got to play it. Actually, I did play it back in the day, and it was not ported to a home console in those days, but much later via homebrew. So I was glad to finally play that on a home console. Metal Slug, Contra's baby brother or whatever. Gyrus, some of the best music ever heard in an arcade game. One advantage of this being such a big arcade is they've got this massive 6-player X-Men game with room around it to fit everybody, so really cool. I always like to play Cyclops in this game. I love the character, but I just like his powers as well. Love shooting that beam. As promised, here's the Tron arcade cab you might have never seen before, the cocktail version. And if you'll notice the little controls here, you got the rotary, and it's got the little fire button on the joystick there. Really interesting to see this. I don't think I've ever seen this before. So yeah, that was really, really cool to see. I know a lot of you love you some Tron, and it'd be really cool just to sit down and have some cocktails while playing it. Now guys, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that they had a bunch of limited edition pinballs. Guys, you have never seen anything like this. An incredible row. Now, Stern, for their limited machines, they typically make 500 to 1,000. Like there were just 500 Led Zeppelins made. And check out these incredible toppers. I love that Godzilla one. Huge fan of Godzilla growing up. Me and my brother would watch the movies religiously. And when we watched King Kong vs. Godzilla, we rooted for Godzilla, even though we were American kids. I love that property. Stranger Things, can't wait for the new season. Yeah, check it out, guys. Limited edition. This is number 263 of just 500. Mandalorian, love that show. That was a great ride. Before there were so many Star Wars shows. Jurassic Park, I saw that one at the theater back in the day. And the machine is a lot of fun. Love the little toys and things. Black Knight, these are one of my favorite toppers here. These are the official toppers, not the homemade ones that you might find at shows and whatnot. Now, those are cool too, but it's really cool to see so many of the original ones that were actually created by the companies. Now there's Sterns here, and there's other machines as well, like other companies like Evil Dead. I believe that's Spooky Pinball. And man, just these toppers alone cost a fortune. It's amazing to see all of these in one place. And Metallica, this is the alternate artwork. And man, how would you like just to have that topper like on your desk or in your game room or whatever, much less the pinball machine. And Ryan and Katie over here are playing Elvira's House of Horrors. So cool. And Avengers. Now, this game took a little while to grow on me, as did X-Men, but I really enjoy it. And Rush. First time I've seen that topper. And yeah, again, these are all limited edition machines from Stern. And like I said, some other companies too, but boy, just the row of Sterns alone is enough to reason to come out here. This is a destination spot for sure. I mean, if you live anywhere in driving distance of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you definitely got to check out Push Start Play Arcade. Guys, you can hardly find Elton John anywhere outside of a major pinball festival, but much less the limited edition version from Jersey Jack. And they do have a full row, or quite a few Jersey Jack machines here. And I love that company. They make some of the best pinball machines on the market. They're difficult. Yeah, they're hard games, and they tend to have scoring low. Like instead of scoring millions and billions, you score in the hundreds and thousands. And but anyway, just a killer machine. Dialed in. Love Wizard of Oz. That was one, I think that might have been their first, Jersey Jack's first machine, if I recall. And it just blew me away, especially the back glass, the visuals, the animations and everything. So great. These toppers are so freaking cool. Now these here aren't really, these are from the Chicago Pinball Company, not limited editions from what I can tell, but cool that they have those toppers. Have you ever seen this Monster Bash topper? That is incredible. One of my favorite, actually this is my favorite pinball machine of all time. So really cool to see that. And some more Jersey Jack action over here. The Monster Bash is really the oldest machine in this row from what I can tell, or one of the oldest. And Willy Wonka, that's a hard one to find, Jersey Jack. Great stuff, guys. This is the first time I've seen this Batman 66 machine in a while. This is the limited edition Dungeons and Dragons, one of the newer Stern machines. Number 498 of 740. Let me know in the comments if 740 is a special number for Stern or for D&D. It's kind of an odd number. Not literally, it's an even number, but you know what I mean. King Kong Myth of Terror Island, great machine. Cool to play the limited edition version. Number 623 of 932. And Uncanny X-Men. All right, of course, guys, Katie is going to be playing Tetris. You know, she loves that game if you saw our Tetris video. So, Katie, what did you think of this arcade?
Honestly, this arcade feels like someone sat down in front of a bunch of DFW investors. It was just like, hey, you guys, people are tired of like not having all the same games in the same location. So they just like bought every game that's good that exists, and are like, yep, that's what we're doing.
Well,
we have every game now.
It's really impressive lineup of pinball machines, especially the limited editions. There's not a lot of really old pinball machines, but you can't have everything. I mean, there's a ton of machines here. Yeah. But from the 90s to the present, there's an incredible lineup. The arcades are really impressive. I pointed out they didn't have Mr. Do, but that's okay. They have Ladybug, so, you know.
Ladybug?
Yes, I love. You don't know Ladybug?
Katie,
how are you, my daughter?
I saw it.
It's a great game on ColecoVision, and I love it in the arcades. Now, it's a little bright. I know some of you, when I did my Time Rift arcade, you talked about how it was kind of bright near the windows, so that might be an issue for some of you. Not a huge deal. You can just come at night or play some of the machines at the back of the arcade, so whatever. Anyway, Katie, so yeah, Katie, thanks for being involved in the video.
Yeah, for sure.
Really appreciate it, and glad you could come with us before you go back to Lubbock.
Me too.
I will probably do a separate video just with their pinballs because they've got a ton of other machines here that I didn't have time to cover in this video. But guys, let me know in the comments if you've ever been to Push Start Play Pinball in Lewisville. It just opened, so you probably haven't, but you definitely want to check it out. If you're in driving distance, even if you're in Austin or Lubbock or Abilene or Oklahoma City or whatever, it is worth the drive. And if you're ever in the Dallas-Fort Worth on business or vacationing or whatever, come check it out. It's an amazing place. We've certainly enjoyed our time here. And guys, they have a ton of the environmental stuff. They got the ticket redemption games and everything, but I wanted to stick to the truly great stuff in this video. So thanks for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Share this video if you've got gamer friends. I'd really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys in another video. Thanks for liking and subscribing.